to Shervo on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. We've got the Queensland Premier with us right now with all the latest on Cyclone Alfred. Premier, what is the latest for Queenslanders?
G'day, Matt. Well, it's a system that certainly packs a punch, and the potential for waves and wind, rainfall and then eventually flooding remains real. And as you've said, its run into the coast has been delayed overnight. It remains a Category 2 system though. And to give you an indication of the kind of severity of it, we recorded a wave, I just got briefed just a moment ago, 12.3 metres off the coast of the Goldie at Main Beach, which we've never seen a wave height recorded like that. So it is a strong system, and that delayed run into the coast does give people who may not have finished their preparations that little bit more of a window. We were discussing with you yesterday that prospect of a crossing late into Thursday, into Friday. Well, that window's been pushed further into Friday. So a little bit more time for those who may need a bit more time to get ready.
New South Wales SES Deputy Commissioner Deb Platts joins us as well. What's the latest where you are? What are your biggest concerns in New South Wales?
Good morning. Of course, for us, it's the southern flank of this cyclone which will cause the most destruction for people in northeast New South Wales. So it's high tide combined with coastal erosion, the very strong winds and the significant rainfall that we are worried about. We currently have 23 prepared to evacuate, watch and act warnings out at the moment, and these are for areas around Yukai and surrounds, Kingscliff, Pottsville, the Ballina CBD, Kyogle and Korakai. There are others, so I would encourage people to go to the SES website to make sure that they know what is happening in their area and stay alert. And as the Premier said, there is more time now for you to prepare, but please do not be complacent because the winds are already picking up and we are having significant rainfall already.
Premier, I've got to ask you, so you've mentioned that it's slowed down. We know that, we're tracking it. When will it hit landfall?
Well, that window's been pushed back, and these things, there always is a huge degree of variability. So exactly where it will cross, that window remains between the Sunshine Coast and the Gold Coast. That will tighten as it gets closer. The strength and exactly when that will be determined as the speed that it comes in. All of the modelling does continue to show it coming towards the coast, and it has resumed that track in. So my message to Queenslanders, and indeed to those in northern New South Wales, is we're all taking this seriously and we're asking you to do the same. And if you do that, you will get through it. Yes, it will be a system that produces those winds and the rains, and there is the real prospect of flooding as well, particularly to the southern part of that system. But if you do the little things now, it makes a world of difference at the other end. And we want people to know we're taking it seriously. We've pre-deployed a lot of assets, everything from people, health workers on islands, to generators. We are prepared. There will be no daylight between the response and the recovery, but you've got to do your little bit now, and I assure you, you will get through it.
We know there's a number of people on standby. Police have been hitting the beat and knocking on doors. The speed of it, just one more time, what does that mean for potential flooding, Premier, and the fact that it could remain isolated in situ for a period of time?
Yeah, Matt, so we saw the system overnight do a loop on itself, which is what delayed its run into the coast. That's pretty rare, but it can happen. And in the end, it gives people a little bit more of a window, but it still remains a Category 2, and it still has those things we speak about, the strong winds and the potential for a lot of rain. So take it seriously, but if you go about your business, if you do the little things, we will continue to give you the information. As I get it, I will share it with Queenslanders, and I have every confidence that we have done the little things that make a big difference, and increasingly I do believe that people are taking the event seriously, and that gives you the best chance. So make sure you know if you are in one of those storm tide surges or in a flood zone, and councils are putting all that information. We're sharing that on our app, disaster.qld.gov.au, but all of your individual councils have that mapping. If you're not in that area, the vast majority of people, get your home ready, remove your loose items, prepare to be able to bunker down with your family, and you'll get through it.
Premier, I've got to commend you because your communication, your ability to get ahead of this and to warn people and communicate what's coming has been absolutely brilliant to this point. Keep up the great work. Deputy Commissioner, please take our appreciation with you as you send your crews out because it's only going to get worse. We do hope, our thoughts are with you, that you will stay safe as well. Thanks for your time. Here's Nat.
Thank you, Shervo. Now let's bring in 7 News meteorologist Tony Auden live in our weather centre. Good morning to you. Tony, I think we just heard the Queensland Premier say they have just tracked a wave off the Gold Coast at 12.3 metres. Is that unusual?
Good morning, Nat. Yes, it is unusual, and we actually saw a wave off the Tweed a little bit further south yesterday that was over 15 metres. Now, these are rogue waves. They are waves multiplying on top of each other. They don't represent the main lot of weather that's coming through. We've seen those significant wave heights, the average sitting more about 7 to 8 metres, which is still just about off the charts and very close to records for a number of those locations. OK, explain where this cyclone is and exactly where it's heading. Yes, well, we've seen pretty much a step change in terms of where we're expecting Alfred to go and when. It means we're all going to have to be a lot more patient. So we saw a loop-de-loop yesterday. That happens. We get these wobbles. This was a pretty big one. So Alfred is still a weak Category 2, but sitting about 300 k's off the Gold Coast. Similar numbers to what we had yesterday. A little bit of cloud there. We're only getting squalls off the outer side of Alfred on land. So we're seeing what we think are rough conditions, but it's nowhere near what the core of the system can bring. Now onto the forecast track. This is the official Bureau forecast track, and what it's not quite picking up is that step change in the stalling. So what we get is a bit of old data coming through. They mix it with the new stuff, so we don't get rapid changes. It's a good idea so you don't, jump the gun in terms of that change, but it does mean that that change isn't quite reflected in this track. So at the moment we have that landfall potentially late tomorrow. Those models are really varying between late tomorrow and potentially as late as Saturday night at the moment. Still expecting Category 2 hovering off the coast. That could intensify briefly, most likely today. There's a chance that the system could actually weaken a little bit, which would be a best case if we're being patient. The one thing that hasn't really changed is that warning area, Sunshine Coast down to Grafton. A whole bunch of severe weather effects is still expected there, Nat. OK, let's talk about the water that it will bring. I was in Brisbane in 2022. Hundreds of homes got inundated. Lives were wrecked. And that looks like it was the largest 3-day total that they got, somewhere around 670 millimetres. What are we expecting now? Well, it's playing out as a different beast at the moment. Yesterday, I would have said confidently for Brisbane itself that the flooding wouldn't be as bad because we're expecting Alfred to move quicker. Of course, those surrounding smaller catchments, including around the Gold Coast and Lismore, yes, they are in the firing line, can fill up quickly and flood quickly. Now we have a bit of a different path here. It's a bit more uncertain. We could still get 2 or 3 days of rain. Running through those impacts, though, everything is kind of changing. So waves still huge. We're expecting those large waves to last a little bit longer into the weekend now. It will take longer to ease back. Wind, those peak wind gusts about 155 k's now, are relatively close to the system centre. If it stalls on the coast, we could either get a longer period of those really nasty destructive winds, or they might just hover off the coast and then we get not quite as bad an impact as it eventually moves across. And all of that has a huge impact on the surge, depending on when we get landfall and how strong those winds are, and the tides will impact on the surge. Now back to the rain, and if we have Alfred hovering off the coast, we can still see here on the rain map here, we're going to get heavy squalls, we'll get flash flooding, we'll get some kind of river flooding, but that really, really heavy rain, the long-lasting heavy rain, is likely to come at and after landfall, Nat.
Right, OK, thanks for that really comprehensive report there, Tony. We'll talk to you soon. Here's David.